Hi, welcome to Tactical OP and Neo's Handguns and Reloading. I'm OP, and there's Neo. For our first video, wanted to do something I thought might be helpful to some people. I'm going to go over my reloading setup. I'll go over each piece of equipment briefly and not spend too much time on anything, but just kind of give you an overview of what I have. And if you see something that you like on here, I'll have pictures and part numbers and the seller I bought it from posted at the end of the video. But I just want to give you an idea if you're thinking about getting into reloading, really what you're going to need. When I first started getting reloading, I thought, okay, well, I'll get a press, and then, oh, I need this, oh, I need this, oh, I need this. And then before you know it, you've got $1,000 or better wrapped up in what you're trying to do, just so you can make some bullets. Unlike a lot of people, I did not get into this for the hobby of making bullets. My hobby is shooting, and I just wanted to be able to shoot more, and figured if I can make my own bullets, then maybe I can afford to shoot more. So everything I bought here, I looked at price very thoroughly and read reviews. Okay, we'll start with the most expensive single piece of equipment. I chose to go with Hornady Lock and Load AP press. Very happy with this press. I've loaded between 9mm and 40 Smith & Wesson, about 8,000 rounds so far. Had to do very minor adjustments to it. Learned a few tricks about it, which I'll go over in a different video where I'm reviewing it. But this was the winner out of all the research that I did. I looked at Lee's, RCBS, Dillon, and finally just made it simple. And in my mind, I said, okay, well, Hornady makes bullets. They ought to know. So I went with this one. Pretty happy with it. Really, I can't find a complaint. I mean, it's just, it's been great so far. Another piece of equipment you're going to need is some way to clean your casings. I chose to go with a dual drum rotary rock tumbler. Works really well, haven't had any issues out of it. Tumbled a lot of casings out of it. The media I use are stainless steel pins, little 8mm long pins. I bought them in a 5-pound bag. And I think that was like $45, something like that. I put 100 9mm casings in. I've got about a pound to a pound and a half of the steel pins in here. Put a couple of drops of Dawn dishwashing liquid, a squirt of Lemmy Shine, fill with water to about 1/2 inch to 1 inch above the top of the casings and media. Seal it up, tumble it for about 1 hour to 1 hour and 15 minutes, and when you open it up, your casings are golden. So that works really well. I'm really happy with that, and I will do a separate review that will also show some pretty crucial adjustments to do to this to make it essentially trouble-free for me anyway. You're also going to need a scale. A good powder scale measures grains down to 1/10 of a grain. I got the Frankfurt Arsenal digital scale. Very happy with this for the price. I don't think it can be beat. I've got it, I think, on sale for about $20. Comes with a little powder tray that's essentially useless. Calibration weight. Calibrates really easy. I love it. To do exact measurements is easy. You just put the casing on here, hit tare weight, put the bullet back in your press, charge it with powder, measure it again, and you're exact. You can crank out some really accurate ammo using the scale. It is somewhat vibration sensitive. I mean, you can't be running a rock tumbler cleaning casings on the same table as this. It'll never give a steady reading like that, but if you use a little bit of sense, keep it on a separate tray, something like that. I keep it on this table as I'm reloading with nothing else running, and I get quick readings. I'm very happy with this. I've read reviews where people have spent over $100 and come up with scales that they are complaining about. This is not super air sensitive. You can have the AC going as long as you're not blowing direct air onto the scale, and it's worked really great. So I'm very happy with that. Another thing that's good to have, but it's not a must, you can pull all this up on the internet, which is the way I started originally, but I did get a book just so I could have it right here next to the table and take a quick look. If I've been reloading 9mm for a month straight and forgot my specs on 40, you know, just quick reference, keep you from having to pull stuff back up on the internet. So not a must. I don't use it for my powder charges. I go to the manufacturer's website to get my minimum maximum charge for the powder, but good to have anyway. Also digital calipers, so you can measure case mouth, overall length. I picked these up at Harbor Freight for like $9, and they work well too. Next, maybe a little more press specific. Since I went with the Hornady Lock and Load AP press, I decided I wanted to use Hornady dies as well. The Lock and Load AP does not come set up in any caliber. You have to buy dies, shell plate for whatever caliber you're going to load. I know some of the competitors' presses will come set up in whatever caliber you wish. This one does not. So kind of add that on to the price of your press when you're figuring out which press you want to go with, because you've got a $35 shell plate and about $50 worth of dies that got to be added on just to do one caliber. That comes included in some of the competitors' presses. So if you get the Lock and Load AP and you have the easy eject system on it, which means you have this tab on your plate, okay, that ejects the casing, you must have the clear package shell plate. They also have shell plates that come in a white box. They work only on the old style that has a wire bell that catches the casing and ejects it. So if you got the easy eject with the tab, you got to buy the clear package shell plate. So we have like 9mm Luger dies. These dies, I'll go over setting up these dies in the press. Different video. I'll probably do a video per die, so it'll be a little bit easier for people to go back and just look how to set up one die if they don't have questions about the others. Also, on the 9mm, if you're going to do plated bullets, I recommend getting a second taper crimp cedar die. You can do some modifications on the die itself and do away with putting a print of a circle around the end of your bullet that you will get on a plated bullet if you don't do some kind of modification. So I've got a separate one here for when I do hollow points or whatever, but I've already modded the taper crimp cedar die that came in my set just to get that donut off the end of my bullet. I'm pretty particular when it comes to that. I wanted them to look pretty, and it was only aesthetic purposes, had nothing to do with what they shot fine, just bothered me. So and if you're into this, you're probably going to be particular, and you won't like that ring on it either. Very, very simple tool. Hornady primer flipper tray. Little tray opens up, you dump your primers into the tray, shake it around. These little serrations, if I can get in the light where you can see, turn it a little bit. Okay, those serrations will actually hook the primers and flip them over the right direction. You get them all the same direction, put the lid back on it, flip it over, bam, you got shiny side up on all your primers, and you're ready to go load your primer fill tube. Here's a neat little tool that you may need if you're going to be reloading any NATO casings. Something I found out the hard way. NATO primers are staked in, and you need a reamer to make the hole bigger to make your primers fit into the casings. They will not go into the casings unless you bring the hole bigger. This is a small primer pocket reamer. This one's a Hornady. If you know you're not going to be shooting NATO, you should be fine without it. But if you happen to buy like once fired casings from ranges or anything like that, you don't know what you're going to get. You're going to run into some of them. You're going to run the casing through your press trying to get a primer in, and it won't go. And just about 4 or 5 turns with this and the primer pocket, and your new primer will fit. Something else, something I thought originally I didn't need. I'm going to be making bullets, not unmaking bullets. But in making bullets, you will unmake bullets. A inertia bullet remover. Works pretty good. This is a Frankfurt Arsenal one. It costs like $12, $13, something like that. You just put the bullet in. This little claws will hold it. Set it in, tighten it down. Inertia, use it like a hammer, and after 3 or 4 or 5 hits, the bullet will come free from the casing. Recommend having a block of wood to hit so you don't tear up your tabletop, though, so sometimes you really got to lay into it. But you will need one, especially when you're setting up your dies for the first time. You're going to get some bullets that are seated too deep, and you're going to want to remake those. So you know, after going probably 3-4 weeks without having one, and I had a tray full of bullets I needed to unmake, and I ordered one. It's worked pretty well so far. For some reason they have a hole over the end though, so when the bullet comes out, gunpowder can fly everywhere. So put a little tape over that, cured that problem. So that's something that you don't have to have, but you will probably want, and if you don't buy it immediately, you eventually probably will. Okay, another fairly expensive piece of equipment that I decided to purchase before I ever got started. A chronograph. I mean, this is how you zero it in right here. You're going to dial it in with one of these. You want to match your ideal speed, and that's where you set your powder charge to. Taking this one out and ran it, and I mean, I've had no glitches. It didn't matter if it was overcast or in the middle of the sun. Doesn't matter. This thing has worked every time flawlessly. I got this one on sale for probably about 110 bucks. And like I said, it works great. Mounts on a tripod, takes a 9-volt battery. That pretty much covers the equipment I use for reloading 9mm and 40 Smith & Wesson. I will be doing individual videos on each piece of equipment, showing you tips that I've learned, some adjustments, and just general things that I think would help somebody starting out using any one of these pieces of equipment. So I appreciate you watching, and if you like this, give us a thumbs up, and say goodbye, Neo. Goodbye.